In this video, I'm going to teach you how you can build your own Microsoft Outlook calendar assistant. Let's dive in. This is what our final automation is going to look like. And before we dive in, I'd love to do a quick demo just to show you exactly how it works. We're able to access our assistant here from Telegram. So I'm just going to send it some messages just to test it out. Please, could you schedule an event for me for gym at 6 p.m. today? Thank you. It has scheduled the event. So let's go check in our calendar to see if it has been scheduled. And as we can see, the event has been scheduled successfully. Now let's test out what else this bot can do. And now I want to change the time for that event to 7 p.m. And as we can see, it has changed the time. So let's confirm. The time was changed correctly from 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. Now let's test if it can give us all the events on our schedule. I'm going to create an extra event so we can test this out properly. Now I'm asking it to create another event work at 8 p.m. And he has done that as well. So now let's look in the calendar. And as we can see, work has been scheduled for 8 p.m. Coming back to Telegram, now let's see everything that's on our schedule for today. And the bot tells us exactly everything we have scheduled on our calendar. And lastly, let's test out deleting an event. So here, we're going to test out deleting the event gym from our calendar. And now I'm going to walk us through step by step exactly how we can build this AI calendar assistant. So first thing we want to do, we want to create a new workflow, and you can name this workflow whatever you want. And we're going to add a first step. So as we saw in the demo, it is triggered from a Telegram message. So we're going to be using Telegram as our trigger. Coming to the plus sign over here, we're going to search for Telegram. And we're going to click on message, meaning when we send a message on Telegram, that then triggers the workflow. Awesome. So we set it up like this. And next steps, we need to connect our Telegram credentials. So I'll leave a link to a video right below this that walks you step by step how you can do this. Once your credentials have been connected, we move on to the next step, which is a switch. So we have two types of inputs that we can get from this trigger. The first one is an audio file, which is when we send voice messages. And the second one is a text, which is when we type and send a message across. So we want to be able to put that through different branches so they can be processed differently. So coming over here, we're going to search for the switch. So clicking on the switch node, we want the mode over here to be rules. We want two routing rules. So to add a rule, you just want to click on add routing rule. And for the first one, we wanted to handle the voice messages we get. And the second one, we wanted to handle the text messages we get. So for the first one that handles the voice, we want to make sure that this is toggled as expression. And we're going to put two curly braces. And we're going to do $JSON dot message dot voice dot file underscore ID. So what this does is it retrieves the audio file that we get when we send over a voice message. And here we want this to be exist. So we want this to just be exist. And here I want to toggle this rename output green. And I just want to call this audio file so we can know exactly which route is going to follow. And then for the next one, this is where we want to handle our text. So here, just like before, we want this to be expression and we want two curly braces. And this is going to be $JSON dot message dot text. So we're capturing the text there. And like before as well, we want this to be string and then we want it to be exist. And for rename output, we toggle that green and the output name is going to be text. Clicking out of this, we want to come to our next steps, which is how we want to handle this different paths. So let's start with our audio file path. So the first thing we want to do is we want to retrieve the actual audio file. So here we're going to click on the plus sign. We want to search for Telegram. Here in Telegram, we want to look for get file. And here we just want to configure this. So you put your Telegram credentials here. Then we want the resource to be file, the operation get. And here we want to add the file ID, which is going to be same like what we used in the routing. So this is going to be make sure it's expression. And this would be two curly braces. We want JSON dot message dot voice dot file underscore ID. And here we want this download button to be toggled green. After this, we want to be able to extract that audio file and turn it into text. So we're going to use an OpenAI transcriber to be able to transcribe those for us into text. So coming here, I want to search for OpenAI and I want to select the transcribe a recording. We're going to click on that. Here you want to connect with your credentials. You want the resource to be audio, the operation transcribe a recording, and the input data field name to be data. Coming now to our text route, what we want to do, we want to use an edit field set. We're just going to add fields. And here we want to get this, just copy that. Coming over here, we want to put that here as the value. Make sure it's expression. And here we want the name to be text. Now, why we're doing this is because when everything comes to the AI agent later on, we want it to all be in the same consistent data type. So what OpenAI does over here is it's going to label whatever we get out of it as text. So we also want anything we get out from the text side to have the name text. So it is compatible with the next step. For our next step, we want to add our AI agent. So we're going to click on the plus sign and we want to go to AI and we want this to be AI agent. So over here we have connect chat trigger node. We want to change that to define below. And here we're going to put the user prompt. So what we want to use as a user prompt is whatever message the user is sending from Telegram. So here we're just going to put this as expression and we want the two curly braces, space, and want this to be $JSON dot text. Next steps, we want to add a system message. So to do that, we're going to come over here and we're going to click on system message. In system message, we're just going to do this and I'm just going to paste in our system message and we can go over it together. So here in the system message, we have us saying you are a calendar management assistant, and we also give it the exact time right now using this now convention. After that, we have your role is to help the user efficiently manage your calendar by creating, updating, retrieving, and deleting events when requested. And next, we give it a description of the tools it has access to, as well as additional information so it can make sure everything is tailored properly. And this is a tools agent, so we do have some tools we have to configure. Coming down below, first thing, we have to configure our chat model. So here we just click on that, and I'm going to be using OpenAI. For OpenAI, I'm going to be using GPT-4o, just because I found it works really well for me in this use case. And next, we're going to add our memory. So our memory, we're going to add simple memory. And this gives us the ability for our AI agent to access whatever past interactions is done with the user in the past. So clicking on simple memory, I want to change this to define below. And I want the contents window length to be 7. For our key, I want that to be JSON.text. Awesome. So now it's time to configure our tools. And for this, we're going to have 4 tools. One to create events, the second one to update events when we need to, the third one to get us all the events on our calendar, and the fourth one to delete events. And before we dive into this, I have something very important we have to go over. So if you're self-hosted and you're connecting your Microsoft credentials through Microsoft Azure, there are some permissions that you need to ensure are enabled to enable you to be able to perform these actions using your Microsoft Outlook calendar. So here we have different permissions that you need to enable. The first one is calendars.read.shared. The second, calendars.read-write. Third, calendars.read-write.shared, offline_access, and user.read. And to be able to add these permissions, you want to come over here to the API permissions tab when you come into your registered application. And you want to go to the plus sign, clicking on add a permission. Here, it will take you to this area where you can just click on Microsoft Graph. And here, you just want to click on application permissions. In this area, you'll be able to search up any permissions you need, and then you can just click on them For example, let's just use this one. And then you just click on add permissions over here and it should be good to go. Coming back to n8n, now we've taken care of that. We want to continue with our tools. So clicking on the plus sign, we're going to search for Outlook. Here, we want to make sure we connect with our Microsoft credentials. Then for our tool description, we want it to be set manually. And for the description, I'm just going to paste this in here, which is schedule a new event in a specific calendar. For the resource, we want this to be event. And for the operation, we want it to be create. Here, it gives us the ability to choose our calendar. So coming to this drop down, I'm going to choose calendar. For the title, we want this to come from the AI. So when the AI is executing, we want it to be able to fill up this field by itself. So I'm going to go to expression and I'm going to do 2 curly braces and I want it to be $ from AI. And here in the middle here, I want to put quotes and I want it to be title. Same thing for the start time and the end time. I want it to correspond with what the AI has gotten from the user. We want this to be expression. And I'm just going to copy paste this. And instead, in the quotes, I want to change it to start. And just like the other one, I'm just going to copy paste this in here. And I want to change this to end. For our next one, we want to set up our other tool, which is to update. So same process, Outlook. Here we connect our credentials. Want this to be manually. I'm just going to paste this here. For the resource, we want it to be event as well. And for the operation, we want it to be update. Here we can select our calendar. And for the event here, we want this to be by ID. We want this to be expression. And we're just going to paste this expression here, which gets the ID from the AI agent as well. And then coming here, we're going to add some fields, which would be start and end, as well as the title. So we're going to switch this to expression. And just like in the last one, we want to get this from the AI agent. So curly braces, $ from AI. We want to put 2 quotations in there. We want it to be end. And we're just going to do the same for the other ones. So we're just going to rename this update events so we don't mix them up. And for this one, we want to name it create events. Lovely. Next, we want to add our third tool. So same as before, Outlook, connect credentials, tool description, want it to be set manually. And this one is going to be to get events. So get any events we have on our schedule. So let's put that in. So retrieve details for a specific event by its ID or description. And here I just want to name this get events. For our resource, we want it to be event. And here we want the operation to be get many. And then from all calendars, we just want to toggle that off. We want to select our specific calendar and we just want to toggle return all. Just going to click out of that. So this is our get events. And for our last two, we have delete events. I'm going to click on the plus sign, search for Outlook. Here, we want to connect our credentials. We want this to be set manually. And then here, we just want to put this in. We want our resource to be event. And here, we want our operation to be delete. For the calendar, we just want to search for calendar. And for the events, we want to change this to be by ID. We want to toggle this to expression. And here, we just want to paste this in, which would get that from the AI agent when this is run. And for our last final step, we want to then send a reply back to us, the user, from the AI agent. So I'm just going to click on the plus sign and I'm going to search for Telegram. And here I want to search for send a text message. Here we want to connect our Telegram credentials. We want the resource to be message, operation to be send message. Here we want the chat ID to be expression. I'm just going to paste this in. That is getting this from our Telegram trigger. So the chat ID for the particular chat that we're using to communicate with ourselves and with the AI agent. Here for the text we want to send back, we want to toggle this to expression. We want to do 2 curly braces and want that to be JSON dot output. So this sends back the output from the AI agent as a text message to the chat. And that is it, how to build your own AI calendar assistant. And you can look at the steps over here and customize it further to your needs.